What is going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got a pretty funny story time that was sent in to me by a subscriber who works at a pizza place. And they had a Karen that came in and just absolutely freaked out about, like, the state of the menu because there was a joke on it, and apparently that means their menu is illegal and they need to be sued. Either way, I thought it was a pretty entertaining story time, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright, so as I said, the person who sent this in to me works at a pizza place. And it's not like a chain or anything. It's one of those places that's local, but everybody there loves it. It's been open longer than the person who works there now has been alive. And it's always been owned by the same guy. So obviously the dude knows a thing or two about making pizza. It's pretty delicious. If you can own a restaurant like that for a long time, pretty solid. Restaurants are actually the worst business to start. I think most of them by a huge margin end up failing within the first 6 months or something. So whatever, it's kind of just like a local legend type of place. And the guy is really good at making pizza, and he's really bad at making jokes. He just has that old man boomer humor, you know, like, oh, I hate my wife. Oh, that's such a funny joke. Oh my goodness. Like the type of guy to unironically laugh at Garfield cartoons in the newspaper still. And listen, I love me some Garfield, but it's just time has kind of moved on from the newspaper comics. Not for this guy. That is still the peak of comedy for him. Anyways, to make a little bit of a joke on the menu, he has a thing under the cheeses that are listed for the pizza, which is alien cheese. And whenever someone asks for it, the waiters are supposed to say, "Oh crap, we're supposed to take that off the menu," and just act secretive. And listen, it is pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. You know, would it get a little annoying after a while? Maybe if I worked there. But I don't know, it's a harmless joke. It's literally the most harmless thing you could possibly do. There's not actually alien cheese because, you know, they don't have an alien in the back that they're milking all the time, at least not that they told me about. So whatever, it's just supposed to be a silly little joke that you can play with the customers that pay attention and ask about it. And the owner has had it there basically forever. Almost as long as the place has been open, that joke has been there. And the reason it's there, and it kind of makes sense, is they live in an area where there's a lot of UFO sightings. But whatever, you know, it's just a joke. It's not a big deal. And I don't even understand how even if it was serious, it could be a big deal. Anyways, one day a woman comes in and immediately demands just a very specific table with a specific type of lighting because, you know, she has a light allergy or something. In the way that she asks for it, it just becomes apparent that it's an absolute Karen. And because the subscriber who sent this to me is known as one of the best waiters, they decide to give him the Karen just because if he's a really good waiter, he'll have an easier time dealing with a difficult customer. But whatever, she comes in and sits down and starts going over this menu, dude, like a detective would go over a crime scene. She's got out the magnifying glass. She's looking in, reading every fine detail. And finally, after she's been going over this thing for 15 minutes, very intensely reading it, he goes over and is like, "Hey, can I get you anything? You've been looking at that menu pretty intently for a while." And before even saying "Oh, hi, how are you?" or "Oh, I'm really into the menu" or something, without even looking up, she goes, "What is alien cheese?" In the way that she said it, it was almost like she was offended by it. So instead of rolling with the joke, the subscriber just decides to be like, "Oh, it is a joke." So he says that "Oh, it's just a joke the owner has, you know, since the town's kind of known for aliens or whatever. It's just supposed to be a silly joke. We don't actually have alien cheese." And the lady is like, "What do you mean you don't have alien cheese?" And the guy is kind of confused at that question, not sure how to answer it, because it's a pretty obvious answer to the question. What do you mean you don't have alien cheese? I mean that the owner of the pizza restaurant does not have a way to milk aliens and then turn it into cheese, ma'am. I didn't know that I had to explain that to you, but believe it or not, it is impossible to milk aliens, because A, don't even know if they exist for sure. I personally think they do, but maybe aren't here. B, if aliens did exist and they could fly from planet to planet, interplanetary travel, you really think they would let some guy who owns a pizza restaurant capture them in the basement and use them to make cheese? And you really think the guy that's smart enough to trap an alien in the basement and make cheese with it would just be advertising it at his pizza restaurant. Like, that's his ultimate thing. The government, we don't even know if they have aliens. But this guy definitely has aliens. What is he using it for? Science experiments, interplanetary travel? No, cheese. Like, okay, come on. So, whatever. She asks again, what do you mean you don't have it? And so he explains that there is no way to get alien cheese because it doesn't exist. And immediately the Karen's face starts turning red. And he doesn't know what he said that's so offensive, but he can literally see the anger coming to the surface. And she starts screaming about how it's false advertising to put something on the menu that doesn't exist. And on top of it, he's being condescending by saying aliens don't exist because he doesn't know. And the kid's just confused because in all of his time working here, he's never had someone get offended at him saying aliens don't exist. And on top of it, it's not really false advertising because it's not on any of the advertising. It's a joke in only the menu. And it should be obvious to literally everyone that alien cheese is not a real thing. Who would have thought that someone would come in and get so offended at it that they would be like, this is false advertising. I would have not eaten here without this on the menu. Well, you didn't even know what the menu said until you already decided to eat here. So, okay. Anyways, he explains that they can't have falsely advertised something that doesn't exist. And her response is that because the menu says it and they do not have it, that would make the menu illegal. And she starts screaming that this menu is illegal and she's gonna contact the authorities. And the subscriber, insanely confused by all of this, not aware that a menu can be illegal, says, like, what authorities are you gonna call? Do you really think the cops are gonna come to the restaurant over alien cheese? And she's like, no, I'm going to call the authorities that deal with these type of things. What authorities? Do you think there's an entire department dedicated strictly to menus? You call up the FBI, dude, they're like, hello, we're in the middle of checking into a huge international drug trafficking ring. What's up? Oh my God, someone has alien cheese on their menu in a pizza restaurant? You surely can't be serious. No, you're right. This simply cannot stand. We're going to send our team in right away. Just people start jumping out of helicopters in the parking lot. You know in Monsters, Inc., when they have a 2319 or whatever the code is, I think that's it, when the sock's on his back, and like everyone's jumping from the ceiling and whatnot. That's what they're going to do here because of this alien cheese. Either way, the subscriber says, well, you go ahead and contact the menu police, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. And the lady is like, well, what you can do to make this go away is give me a free meal. That'll make it go away. Like, I won't contact the authorities if you give me free food. And now he's confused on if she's actually just a crazy upset about the alien thing, or if she's gone Karen mode to try to get a free meal. You know, the type of people that are like, I'm going to go into a place, cause a bunch of issues, right? That's my go-to plan. And then when I'm upset about the issues I caused, I'm going to demand free things to make me calm down. Like, she freaked out about the alien thing, and now the only way to make her calm down is give her free food. So he kind of realizes what's up, and he's like, I'm not going to give you free food. And she stands up and grabs her purse and is like, well, then I'm not going to eat here. And the guy is like, okay, all right. He's pretty okay with that. I don't know what you expect him to do. Believe it or not, I'm pretty sure there's been a few times in all of his time working as a waiter where someone has walked in and then decided not to eat there and walked out. And even if it was the first time, did you expect him to get on his hands and knees and be like, no, please do not leave. Please, this restaurant needs you. We're bleeding money. And so he just says, okay. And she's like, I'm serious. And he's like, okay. And she gets up and starts walking to the door. And she gets to the door and she pushes it open, but she can't leave it at that. Of course, she has to try to get the last word in, even though it's not even really an argument. And she's like, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. And none of the workers even look up or acknowledge her. So she says it again. She's like, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. And once again, everyone's just ignoring her. They're going the same route you go when a kid is throwing a tantrum. Just pretend it's not happening and eventually they'll tire themselves out. But that's not enough. And so she's kind of standing near the podium, and the person who seats people has moved away from the podium at that point to not be near it. And it's not the most sturdy podium in the world. I mean, you can knock over a podium. And so she walks up and says, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. And she shoves the podium over. And at that point, the owner comes out from his little office and is like, you'll be hearing from my lawyer if you damaged my property. Now get out of here. You're embarrassing yourself. And she ends up walking out. And of course, everybody is like, bro, that was nuts. That's one of the craziest customers we've had yet. And then everyone starts mimicking her and being like, the menu's illegal, the menu's illegal. Listen, I just feel like, sure, technically they are advertising something they don't have, but it should be obvious that they don't actually have alien cheese, all right? It's really, really obvious. And the owner had only come out and told them to leave, like he didn't see the entire thing, so he pulls the subscriber into his office and is like, all right, tell me what happens. So obviously he gives him this huge breakdown, and at the end the owner kind of like takes a deep breath and puts his head in his hands, you know, like a You know, I've had that joke for a long time, and while I think it's funny, this is not the first time that someone's gotten mad and tried to break something because of it. Which, listen, that is so funny to me, bro, that apparently this alien cheese joke, which is kind of corny, if anything, right? It's a pretty dad joke type of joke, has offended more than enough people for them to just like freak out and start breaking things. Like, what are these people doing, bro? Seriously, who's just sitting there like, this alien cheese thing has gone too far? And how often has this happened? If it's enough for him to take a deep breath, is it like a regular occurrence, you know? Does he have it in his insurance policy or whatever? But he's like, all right, well, I'm glad you're okay, thank you. And the next day, he comes into work and there's new menus on the table and he starts looking through it, and apparently the alien cheese joke had been removed. So unfortunately, in this instance, Karen won the day because they ended up taking it out. I wonder if just the threat of a lawsuit scared the owner. He's like, I don't even want to risk being sued. Or maybe it's the fact that at this point, there's just a chain of destruction over this alien cheese joke. And I don't get it. Like, why are people so mad about it? Maybe I'm stupid and it's just going right over my head, but I just don't understand why this would make you so upset for any reason. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know this was a shorter one. I apologize. I've got longer videos back on the schedule soon. But if you did enjoy it, I would appreciate y'all taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. Of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. And of course, if you like listening to the audio, I do post the audio on Spotify, link in the description down below. And there's also a playlist in the description you can check out, which has all my favorite story times that I've told this year so far. So check it out if you need something to listen to while you got something going on. And yeah, on that note, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.